Okay, so now it's on live, so we can start. Okay, so I'm Melissa Cordier. Then you guys can tell us your names.
My name is Vanessa Martin.
I'm Madison Adams.
Okay, so the first questions we have. So I have the question. I don't know if they popped up on your side. Do they pop up
No,
the questions?
I'm
Because I
trying to
wrote
find
this.
the questions right now on my iLearn.
Okay, so if you press on like on the screen, there's on the left-hand side. If you go over there, there's like a chat box, and it should pop up. And I posted all the questions on there, so it's just easier. But if you can't find it, it's okay. You can just find the thing.
The chat. I found the chat box, but it looks like it's broken. It says to list
Oh,
all comments, enter question mark. Oh, done. Let's see.
did you get it? Here, I'll just post it again.
Oh, I see it.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so the first question is, what was challenging about this activity? So to be honest, I don't know what she wants from this question. Because I don't know what she's talking. I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know if she's talking about like the new normal or like what activity.
Yeah.
Does
Um,
anyone know?
I think she might be talking about the actual, like, the new normal activity where we had to go and watch the videos and stuff. I think.
Okay, let's just go for that.
Okay.
Okay, so who wants to start?
Um, I can start. Well, what was challenging about this activity? Um, Nothing really. I mean, it was all pretty much straightforward. I found a few things interesting, but not really challenging.
Right.
I don't know if I should go into the interesting stuff that I found out or.
Sure. Do it.
I have no idea. So I found it interesting that the new normal, especially the TV show, how much I guess that I'm kind of blinded by the stuff of the world. Like the TV show seems normal. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty much what all TV shows are about these days, pretty much. And then I thought about it, and it made me realize that no, like obviously that's backwards, and I'm just so desensitized to it
Right.
that the TV show, the new normal, just kind of seemed normal to me, pretty much. I don't know.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I think, well, I look thinking about it after I watched like that little video. I was like, all the shows that I watch are either like the parents are divorced, or there's just one mom in the home, or there's like two moms in the home, and there's never really, to be honest, there's never just a mom and dad. And I guess you're right. Like, I feel like I've been like so used to it now that it doesn't even shock me.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's so, but yeah, I like how you brought that up because I didn't even think about that until now. Like, it's like I'm so used to it. I'm like, wow, it doesn't even matter. But it's sad. It's like sad how like the family has changed in so many years, like over the past years, like completely changed. So I don't know. That's what I found interesting too. I guess challenging too.
Yeah, I don't know, kind of both.
Yeah.
It's like the TV shows these days too. There's like always a gay character, always, and it's not usually the main character, but it's like one of the main supporting characters, and you see it in like every TV show and like
Right.
that relationship, and it's not like the main romantic relationship, but it's still a big part of the show, and it's interesting like how that is in like so many TV shows, no matter what the plot line is, and that
Yeah.
like is portrayed as the new normal as well.
Yeah. No, it is interesting. Okay, so we'll move on. Okay, so how well do you think the average young adult understands the doctrine of the family? For me personally, I think like young adults or young singles or whatever, I don't think they really understand the doctrine. Like I'm still trying to understand all the doctrine of the family. I think nowadays people look at that kind of stuff as it is normal. Like it's like why are we like we shouldn't fight against it. We should just go with it. Like that's just how it is. So I don't think young adults really understand the doctrine, to be honest. Some of it. Well, some of it. Like some do, but I think the majority of the young adults are still like they're kind of it's almost like they're being challenged by it, because I feel like Satan is so, that's what he's like working on the most, is family, and so I feel like that's the most that people don't understand about. But I don't know.
No, I totally agree. I agree with the same thing. I don't think young adults and even adults now today fully
Yeah.
understand the doctrine. And I think it's obviously an ongoing process. I don't think you're ever going to learn everything and be like, okay, I understand the doctrine, like I'm good to go. It's always an ongoing process. But when you were talking, one thing that kind of came to mind was doctrine, principles, and applications. I think a lot of times we get those confused. And so when it comes to just the doctrine of the church, I think especially there, young adults don't really understand it. I think they get it mixed up with applications.
Yeah. No, that's true. I like that. Huh.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I think too, like the average young adult is different from the average young adult in the church. So if you're talking the average young adult in the church, the center of the gospel is the family, and it's emphasized a lot, and it's still confusing even within the church.
Yeah.
But like outside of the church in the world, the average young adult overall, like they don't understand the doctrine of the family whatsoever, because family really is these days. It's just there's so many different family dynamics and so many things that are the new normal that it's just basically people who live together, you know, and like that can include anything. And a lot of people say that they're close friends or their family too, you know, like, and so it's just really anybody that lives together, that works together in close proximity, and like, you know, not even always loves each other, you know, but that's what like the average view I think of is the family.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so the next question is, why do you think it is important that we study the doctrine of the family at the beginning of the semester as opposed to the end? Does someone want to start, or do you want me to start?
I feel like that one, it's kind of self-explanatory. I feel like we have to have a firm foundation before we move on to anything else. If we don't have a firm foundation about the doctrine of the church and everything else and the principles, and if they're not understood completely, we're going to have a hard time later on in the semester understanding what the doctrines are of the family.
Yeah. No, that's what I was kind of thinking while you were talking. I was like, oh, it's like the foundation. Like, hello.
Yeah.
You really have to have that foundation of the doctrine of the family before, I guess, we can move on to like almost to know what we can do to help that continue to like, I guess, so we can help people know about the doctrine of the family. Because I think the doctrine of the family is kind of getting pushed aside. And so I think this class is going to help us maybe just know how to teach it to people, how we can like talk about how important the doctrine of the family is, because it's so backwards now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It's like the foundation.
I like that.
Anything else? Do you have anything, Madison?
I totally agree with what you guys
Yeah.
understand why the family is important, and the doctrine of the family teaches why the family is important, and like how it should, you know, how a family should really be and what the ideal family is. And you can't implement that if you don't understand that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you can't like use it if you don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next is, what doctrine or what principle, if understood, would motivate a Latter-day Saint to advocate for the family? Let's see. I think one that has like always helped me, I think, like live the commandments, like to, I don't know, do my best, is like knowing that I can live with my family forever, like being sealed to my family forever. And so I think if people understood that, it would almost like they would understand why marriage between a man and a woman is so important. And like why, I don't know, I think they would better understand why we go to church every week, like why we have temples. And so I think if they understood that doctrine, like that we can live with our families forever, then they would stand up for the family in like every situation, kind of thing.
I 100% agree. I think if we all understood that, we would try our hardest to do everything we could to be with our friends again, you know, after this life. So.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Good point.
Anything else, anyone, for that one?
Like if we understand that the family is the center of the gospel, and we understand that our earthly family should be patterned after our heavenly Father, like our heavenly family, because we have a heavenly Father, we have a heavenly Mother, we have this heavenly family, and these earthly families are the same thing, and they're such a blessing in our lives, and they're made, like, it's organized that way so that we can become better, so that we can progress, and so that we can all return to our heavenly Father, and
Yeah. I think oh, sorry, go ahead, Madison. Sorry. Did not mean.
Go ahead.
No, while you were talking, I was just thinking if, like, people understood the doctrine of, like, we can one day become like Heavenly Father, like, and, like, receive all the blessings and everything, I think they would, like, know how much families mean to Heavenly Father, and they would stand up for what's right for families, and, like, I think they would understand it more if they almost, I don't know, if they almost knew Heavenly Father more, like, if they knew his, like, how much he loves us and that we are all children of God. I think if they knew that as well, then they would be able to stand up for the family in every situation.
That and also that we are created in his image. That popped in my mind too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a huge statement that it's left out. That we're created in his image, and Heavenly Father, is a God and everything like that. So we have potential to be like that, and by doing things that are against that, like, I don't know, same-sex marriage and things like that, we're kind of setting that aside. We're not really taking into account the full picture of it.
No, I completely agree. Is there anything else? Sorry, Madison, I totally cut you off.
No, you didn't. I was kind of just rambling, but I think, like, the more that we understand the importance of our families, and the harder that we work to establish the gospel harmony within our families, the closer we grow to Heavenly Father, and also the closer we grow to Heavenly Father, the more of a desire we have to make our families work. And every family does take work, and each family has their own problems and things, but it's so important that we put that work in, and I think the relationship with our family and our Heavenly Father goes both ways, and both are strengthened.
Right, yeah. No, I like that. Okay, so then, so that, to be honest, that's all it says. But I kind of want to make sure that there's not anything else.
Okay.
So let me look. I'm sorry, I should have done this earlier.
No, you're totally fine. I mean, you guys were totally on top of this, and I wasn't, so.
No, you're fine. It worked out honestly perfect, so it was great.
Okay.
I'm having problems because my computer, the video.
That was awesome. Okay, so, well, there's one thing that, I don't know if you guys read it. It was in, here, I'm just, like, in it right now. But it's under the defining family, and it's talking about, like, the definitions of, like, the family. Did you guys read those? Like, and what you, like, it said, like, which one do you think, which one would you agree with? Which one do you least agree with? Did you guys see that?
And it's under defining the family?
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yes, it's just like a bunch of definitions of family, and there's all these different types of definitions.
Yeah.
Order of what you think is most important to least important, because they're all different definitions.
They're totally all different definitions. Yeah. Did you find it? I can even post it on our thing.
I'm still looking.
Here, this is, like, way easier.
Sorry, my internet's kind of lagging, and if I cut you off.
No, you're totally fine. Honestly, I should have just, like, thought of that. So those are, it kind of went with the thing. These are, like, it's like the fundamental socially group in society typically consists of one or two parents and their children. Like, so there's, like, all these things that, and so I guess the one that I would agree with most is the second one, and it says two or more people share goals and values, have long-term commitments to one another, and usually reside in the same dwelling place. But it doesn't, I don't know, like, that could still mean same-sex marriage, basically. So would I agree with that? Probably not. But, I mean, out of all of these, that's the one I probably agree with most, is, like, people that are like they have the same goals, values, and like they're committed to each other. But I don't know. I feel like that is almost like the definition of the family now. It's not like it's between a man and woman, like because it's so changed and everyone just keeps changing it. And so I guess that's the one I probably agree with most. Do you guys have one or?
I just wrote down the numbers, and I actually don't know where the
That's
list
okay.
is.
What number is it? And I can find it.
The first definition was the one that I agreed with the most.
Okay, that one just says a fundamental social group in society typically consisting of one or two parents and their children.
I just like that one, I guess, because it was parents and children.
Right.
Oh, I see it. I found
You're fine.
the thing. Sorry, I'm like so late in coming in on this.
No, you're fine.
Let's see. I'd have to agree with the second one. It says two or more people who share goals and values have long-term commitment to one another and usually reside in the same dwelling place. Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one.
Yeah. I feel like out of those, there's not very good options, to be honest.
No, there's not a single option that combines like all the each one has parts of the definition that's
Like,
right.
right. Yeah. Well, I think that's how it is, like, in the world today. They have just, like, parts of the definition of the family or, like, things that they want and, like, their definition of the family. So,
That's so true.
yeah, it's interesting.
That's actually definitely true. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't think about that, but that's definitely true. Everyone has like, their own kind of
Yeah.
bits and pieces of the truth, but they don't have the whole puzzle.
Right. It was almost like, kind of like the gospel, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
they have different parts. But, yeah, so it's interesting, like, the family's the same way. Okay, so
Yeah,
honestly, oh, go for it, Madison.
I was just saying that was a good connection that you made. That was an awesome point.
Okay. So now we're done. I checked, so that was it. So, Madison, if you just want to summarize basically just like everything and just like, so it says at the end of your discussion, have one or all group members. Oh, so we can all, I guess, just add in onto it. It says have one or all group members make a summary statement of what your group's consensus is to the discussed questions. So, yeah.
Oh. Like say it and then say what I think we.
Yeah. Let's just do that.
Okay. So we talked about how the world today has kind of a twisted view on the family. They don't really understand the doctrine of the family. We talked about how they have bits and pieces, but not the whole doctrine of the family, and it's just really confused. And there's so many things that are the new normal, and those things are like gay people living together and starting families together, or like one parent being or both parents being absent or not really involved in the children's lives. So this is kind of what the new normal is. And we talked about how it's important to study the doctrine of the family at the beginning of the semester rather than the end, so that we can establish a firm foundation of what the family really is, and that we can have that foundation as we learn about how to help the family and help be advocates for the family. We talked about how the doctrines and principles that, if they're understood, that would motivate a Latter-day Saint to advocate for the family, are that families are eternal and how important that is, and also that our earthly families should be modeled after our heavenly family. And that's pretty much what we talked about.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add is just I think we all agreed that the average young adult does not understand the doctrine of the family. And so I think but yeah, I think we agreed. I feel like we agreed with like most of the questions. Like,
I think so too, yeah.
Family, like, we just need to understand the doctrine a little bit more, and I think like this class will help us like have that foundation. So,
Yep.
awesome. Okay, let me stop the broadcast.